Good afternoon, pool fans, and a very warm welcome. We are back live with this last 32 match featuring Felix Fogle and Alexa Pechelje from Serbia. This is, as you can see, the single elimination phase. We will conclude up into the quarterfinals, and tomorrow we will crown our winners. Alongside myself is my esteemed colleague, Eric Jorlefsen. Eric, nice to have you with us. How do you see this matchup unfolding?
Hey, pleasure to be with you. I've actually done a match with both of these players so far.
Fogle is getting this match underway. It is, of course, as it has been throughout the event. Alternate break, 2 breaks for players. Break, but straight away, it's not a roadmap by any means. Set ball is quite the hindrance here for Felix. Okay, you play this forward, up and down, just be in his way. Wonder whether he can go around the back of the 8 ball here or let me ask you this. Wouldn't you try and just dislodge the 9 ever so slightly of the 5 here?
I like that. Yeah, just give it more room. No risk of anything going
Well,
bad.
I think he's now looking at to play a little nudge on the 10 ball. That can work as well.
Yep.
The reason I said the 9 ball is because you're going to push it towards the corner pocket, and there's no way to hook yourself on the 7. If you hit the 10 wrong, you can hook yourself on the 7.
Ended up over top of the 9 a little here, but doesn't have to do much for position on the 8. Got a small angle leading into the short rail, and I think he'll take it. Want to be decently close to the 9 here. I'm going to settle for distance.
He's got a small angle here on the 9 ball, so you're playing the stun shot here. If you would play this at medium pace, that cue ball should come off the side rail ever so slightly to leave yourself on that 10 ball into the bottom left corner pocket. Well, followed it through. Same principles, different shot.
Yeah, interesting little sequence there from Alexa. Really keeping it simple. Never blame a player for doing that.
Yeah, I feel that the shot selection let Felix down there. But it's still early days. I always say, if there's ever a moment in a match where you can afford to make errors, it is always in the beginning, not towards the end.
Yeah, race to 9 now in this last 32 single elimination stage. We've been playing race to 7 up until this point. So I think especially with the 2-break format each, it's not quite as lenient on the early stages of the match. Seven ball wants to go, but doesn't. 2 ball almost goes. About 3 balls that came close there, but nothing down.
Yeah, well, you and I did a match on this table. I believe the first of the day. This is my 4th consecutive on table 2, and I must admit, Eric, this table has been breaking quite difficult. Even when we had that blockbuster matchup between Mario Hay and Dennis Grabe, 2 very, very established players. Even them could hardly make a ball on the break.
Yeah, interesting. It just shows that little extra 6 inches wider in the box is giving players a bit of trouble. Toughest play is going to be onto the 7 here. No way to really open it up. So might have to settle with getting the cue ball behind the 9.
Yeah, I think his best bet to try and disturb that 9 or the 7 would be off the 4 ball. But you have to leave yourself a nice angle on it to be able to disturb the 7 and the 9 whilst simultaneously playing shape on the 5 ball. Maybe he is looking to pot the 4 off the 7, just to graze it on the left side.
Yeah, would be a game winner, but decent chance of it jamming off to the left of the pocket if he does try that. It's going to have to contact it very thinly.
In the end, he spotted the 4 clean as a whistle.
Going to be running into the 6 now as well.
And depending what type of shot he leaves himself on the 6, might be the right time to play safe. Of course, this shot here is very difficult to use. Considering to cut it to the side, that would be the only way for him to run into the 7 and the 9 there. Very advantageous, to say the least. Just looked at the spot.
Just a little too... Sorry, Arya.
No problem. I said, yeah, it's looked at the spot of the table just to cut the 7 in. You'll have to be very precise here, Eric.
Yeah, I think just cue ball behind the 9 here, and it's called the 7 in the bottom right. So really looking for cue ball coverage on this one. Nicely played. Only about an inch between the cue ball and the 9 here, but only has to jump over the quarter right edge of the 9. Going with the dart method, trying to get the cue ball up quickly. Gonna change his mind here. Kick safe would play a little better off 2 rails, but the 8's kind of in the way of that path. Yeah, super tough one to judge there.
Yeah, pretty similar pattern like the first rack. Felix making a mistake, giving ball a hand away just towards the final 3 or 4 balls. It just allows Alexa to settle in this match, and let's not forget, these were all on the break of Felix, so he'll have 2 breaks after this. And even though we did establish that breaking on this table is very challenging, it nevertheless is a good chance to build a 4-0 lead. Now, obviously, it goes without saying, Alexa would have to produce good breaks, but also keep producing the goods in terms of making the shot and playing right positional shots. He's lost that cue ball though. Yeah, I've said it a couple of times already today. I feel this table is playing very fast and the rails are very reactive. Has he called a bank?
He's still going to go at it straight in. Just be a little bit worried about the cue ball playing towards the top left. Jump from the side. It's okay. Good shot. So 2 breaks a serve for Alexa, opening up the match here. As you were saying, a chance to pull further away. I did a match with... The match I did with Alexa was on table 1. Did break fairly well. 60 or 70% pocketing a ball on the break, breaking and running a couple.
Yeah, it's a tough subject to explain to some of the newer guys in the game. How do you explain to someone that is perhaps watching this for the first or second time that it actually does make a lot of a difference if you're breaking on a different table? However, when I say that, he's potted 3 balls on the break, has had a great spread, but no direct opening pot.
Yeah, push coming from Paselish here. Yeah, I mean, the biggest difference would be if you're hand racking. Some tables just hand rack better than others. There shouldn't there'd be a lower variance when there's a tap ball or a template rack involved. But even, you know, if these tables happen to be close together, but if one table was on one end of the room, say you're playing in a pool room, and one table's near the door of the pool room and the other one's at the back, or there's different air quality on 2 different tables, it makes a difference. It did make 2 of them in the second row straight back in the side there, though, so good sign for him.
Yeah, that's a good observation, Eric. And what do you make of this push out? Would you return this or try and find the safety here?
Yeah, I think the easiest safe is very thin off the right side, but that's playing heavily, the cue ball's playing heavily into the top right pocket. In that case, I think so much so that that shot's not really there. I do like giving this back, having a second look at the table now. Alexa can try to play the cue ball behind the 6 if he likes.
He was going for that because you can clearly see where he's left the cue ball. He was going for the one full-blooded. Now then, Felix, it's about time you stamp your authority on the match.
Yeah, made the right decision that time. Yeah, you can see the cue ball really springing off that top short rail. And that's condition related too. Not even table related in most cases. Humidity will make that happen. Sure if the 5 passes the 6 here. I think it does. There are other options. Can play a little more draw and get the cue ball coming closer to the 5, but looks like he's going to settle on a bit of distance. Tough reach here. He's having to readjust 3 or 4 times.
Pretty awkward angle, this. So you'll have to use the bottom left side rail just below the middle pocket. No, it's gone past the middle pocket. Played it to perfection, has to be said, but I always thought that was with a bit more risk involved. But when you execute the shot like that, it's hard to disagree with that shot selection.
Yeah, that was a touchy shot there. Easy to decelerate on that one and change the cut angle of the object ball. It stayed nice and positive through it. Got the speed and cueing completely right. Can see the cue ball really playing off the short rails fast, and it almost got him here. So Fogle looks like he's going to get one back on Alexis break. All three games so far going to the non-breaking player.
Yeah, that's a good analysis, Eric. Like I said, this table has not been, to make it a bit more accurate, has not been producing too many break and runs. And that is definitely not down because of the level of play.
Watch the 7 and the 9 here. Alexa had them both going on his previous break. Not this time, but the 6 is down. He's on the 1.
Yeah, this is a very good spread. And a chance, I would say.
Yeah, the 5's going to have to be played in the right middle. It's going to need a good angle on the 3 to get comfortably back for the 4. Bit of work to do here in the first 4 shots. Speed creeping up again. Still going to have a rail first, but I believe he's covered most of the direct parts of the 2. Only has the thinnest right edge.
Yeah. That's pretty disappointing from his point of view. Has a nice angle on the 1 ball, but straight in trouble already within 1 shot. Nicely solved. Still not out of the woods just yet. You did mention 5 into the side. It does go into the bottom left corner pocket where he's queuing over.
Yeah, this one's going to be tough to power through. He plays it in the side pocket, so it looks like he's looking at corner here. Going to come back 3 rails underneath the 4. Option to get to either pocket now. Wisely recognizing that getting anywhere near straight or an angle going directly off the table off the 5 is going to be too tight a position, so it looks like he's going to draw back and try to take a 3 rail position towards the 7. Little straight for that.
Yeah, I think he can just avoid running into the 8. But like you say, he'll have to play this with a bit of pace.
Only positive here for Alexa is that it's an open enough pocket. Anything at a little more angle would be extremely tough. Didn't want to hit the 10, and it's going to get in the way of the 7.
I have a feeling he'll be very disappointed with this visit. It already started off with the position from the 1 to the 2. Now, he managed to salvage that situation, but he's not favored to salvage this once again. He has called the 7 into the bottom right. With the shot clock running down, it's close, but not in. And what's the damage? Could have been worse, Eric.
Yeah, left some distance and left some angle into both top pockets. Just having a look at the top left. Drawing angle's kind of going into the side. He's considering the top right now, which I would prefer here. Try to run the cue ball into the 10. Use the full pocket there, but got it down. Looks like we're going to be on level terms now after 4 games. 4 games in a row now, not going to the breaker.
I must admit, Eric, he hasn't shown any of his potential, anywhere near his potential, but somehow we are locked at 2-all. I think Alexa would be very disappointed. He's had chances on both of these lost racks on his break.
Yeah, the 10-ball break, regardless of any small box stipulations or anything, is something that takes years to really develop properly. Vogle's still young in his career. He's hitting it decently. It can be improved on a little bit. Kind of standing up through the break to get a lot of power.
Yeah, agreed. The break is a skill and a weapon you need to develop over the years.
Just feel like he's kind of standing up a little too much body movement. So you see some of the best breakers in the world now going with that kind of half stand up.
Perfect time to examine his breaking skills. Nothing wrong with that one, I would suggest.
Yeah, hit it well, got rewarded.
Now it's imperative he leaves himself an angle on the 3-ball. He's going to take that 1-ball into the bottom right corner pocket. You can clearly see the angle here. He'll have to come off the side rail. Now he can either incorporate the top rail or just the side rail alone. Yeah, he's looking at the top rail. I don't really know why. You'd like to have a bit more angle.
I agree. There's a big risk of getting straight if he does try to come all the way back underneath it. Looks like that's what he's settling on here. Definitely going to need angle to get properly back onto the 4.
I mean, if the 4 was sitting where the 9-ball is, sure, then you can afford to land straight, but it is not, so... Oh, but you have to make the one first. I think both of us took that one ball for granted.
Yeah, I just feel like even the way he played the cue ball there made him focus a little more on the cue ball, and he lost track of the pocketing. But first miss ball. Shot from Self. 9 ball is going to be slightly in the way of the 2-rail following path back towards the 4, but he can draw the cue ball towards the 5. Make the 5 a little tougher now.
Yeah, with this angle, I don't think he can get to that below the middle pocket for the 5 into the bottom right. So, yeah, it's best to try and play position for the 5 into the side. If you land awkward, you're probably going to play a safety.
It's a bit of a risk, because if he did leave the cue ball near where the 4 is, it's a 100% safe behind the 6-10, and the type of safe that can be a game winner. If he does, yeah, I like staying around there more.
Yeah, that's a
try
fair.
to get back for the side. The safe was going to be a lot tougher. Yeah, I think you will. Oh, he's feeling offensive.
Had us full there. He came around to have a look at your option, and then all of a sudden got down and played the shot he was eyeing up at the beginning.
Two missed balls in rack number 5 now. And Alexa just wanted to stay on offense in this rack, and it ended up biting him.
Yeah, and even worse, Felix does go on to clear the table. That would be 3 racks off of his opponent, his mistakes, not by his own strengths.
Looking good here. Alexa was so upset with the last miss on the 5 that he left his chalk on the table. Kind of rare to see a rogue chalk on the table, but no problem. Just move it over. First game of the set going to the breaking player now. players have been making balls, just kind of making mistakes at some point in the rack to not hold.
Yeah, exactly, and that's frustrating, I think. Well, you can clearly see, by the way, he almost pushed down his cue to where it is resting. Very frustrated. And completely understandable, though.
Yeah, he only made one error in 8 games against Snegotsky. Snegotsky made a couple, but Alexa took full advantage and played very well. So he is in good form. Just has to weather a bit of a storm here. Fogle with his second break at 2 coming here. Got a ball in the second row down again, but no shot on the 1 this time. Has the right edge, but the right edge is leading the cue ball into the top right. Can draw out of it. Gonna have to make sure the 1 doesn't run into the 3 off the short rail. Tough to avoid that.
Is there a way to check the cue ball with bottom left? I say cue ball. I mean the 1 ball.
Yeah, like straight to the right of the 3. It's possible, maybe. I think he's actually going to look for the kick and stick here. Work out ideally. Not clear how much of the pocket Alexa has here. Worst case, you can go off the left long rail into the 4. Well, how about that, Aria?
I did not see a camera of 2 balls, but he was going for the 1, and it is allowed. It's a legal shot. And astonishingly, Eric, he's still left that 4 ball pretty close to the corner pocket. That is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you always consider it lucky when a player grazes 1 ball on the way in, but to graze 2 like that is very unlikely. But no matter how it gets to the pocket, it still counts. So Pacell still getting a small roll there, a big roll really. Still at the table.
Yeah, I think he'll have to come into the gap of the 7 and the 9 here. Now, we have established that probably on the eye it looks like these cushions are a bit lively. has to play this with precision. Took the gamble there, if I can use that word, but he's played it to absolute perfection.
Yeah, decided he wanted to get closer to that ball. Did very well. Don't think he can really move the cue ball to the right here. If he's able to cheat any part of the pocket, he will. Gonna go forward 2 rails. Gonna have to draw the cue ball back to the 6 now. More speed than ideal. Shot. And it looks like after 6 games we're going to be all even. Going back to Alexa's breaks.
This has the feel, Eric, that it's going to go all the way. So strap yourselves in. And the main reason I say that is because of the break causing so much difficulty for these players. You're seeing a lot of turnovers, you're seeing a lot of tactical exchanges, and well, the scoreline already suggested these players are very well matched up.
Alexa had that one perfect break, making both balls in the second row. First break of his last 2 attempts. See if he can find that one again here. The 4, but the cue ball's kicked in. That wasn't directly in the pocket area. Got kicked in from somewhere near the middle. Lucky roll there for Alexa. Kind of getting paid back for the double carom into the pocket.
Yeah, and have a look at the layout, Eric. If you was to warm up, you'd like to scatter the balls like this, just to get your cueing arm going.
Yeah, they're connected very well here.
I think without heading too much ahead of ourselves, the moment that cue ball dropped and he had a second look at the table, I think he already accepted that his opponent is going to run the table, which is very likely to happen. See, I don't know what the scoreline is over the other table, but I was about to say one of the top favorites on the other side of the arena, but I've seen him quite a few times in his chair. So perhaps he's not having it all his own way.
So he'll be looking to get straight on the 7 here. If he doesn't, he'll still have options towards the 8. Try and get close to it. Oh, I'm surprised he went in the side.
Has
Still
played
safe
it.
enough and nice and straight.
Yeah, he's nailed the positional shot there. Wow. I'd like to have that one back.
Yeah, no need for it. I think he was somehow a little worried about the cue ball playing off to the right a little too much, but still wouldn't have made him overdraw the ball like that. Odd one there from Fogle. Gonna have to recover now. The OCD in me keeps looking at that little kind of left part of his glove sticking out. Not used to seeing that. Usually velcroed down or something. It's just kind of flaring out there.
Yeah.
It's a new style.
Yeah, I know what you're saying because I've noticed this on, well, a couple of events back. And I thought to myself, like you said, the Velcro was perhaps not strapped on correctly, but it is a new branding indeed.
Huh. Sal with his second break at 2 here. Biggest game of the match, I would say, so far. Doesn't want to be trailing 2 with going back into Vogle's breaks. Although we did see the first 4 games of the match not having any consequence on the break. He's on the 1 this time. Too much angle to draw and hold over onto the right side of the table. Might be just there if he hits it perfectly. But we've seen how fast these tables are playing. I think it's going to be a tough one to hold. Looking at an option to come between the 3-7 now. Nicely played. Got pretty straight on the 2 as well. Just going to minimize the cue ball movement here. Should be able to safely play the 3 over the top right. Top left, pardon me. On his way to the first possible break and run of the match now.
say, one good positional shot away for achieving that. Yeah, he's looking over his shoulder. That is suggesting he's not happy with the position of the cue ball. And well, when you pay further attention to his body language, it is tight. I do believe, though, Eric, that that 5 ball does go past the 10. But you advise him to land pretty straight on it.
Yeah, that's why he was so upset there with not getting straight on the 4. Knew he'd have to move the cue ball a lot more here. And he's still in decent position, but on the wrong side of the table for a right-handed player. He's doing the Mark Williams here, are you? I don't know if he'll settle on it.
Yeah, it's for me, it's always quite funny to see how the pool players, the majority of the pool players, will go to extreme extents just to avoid using that piece of equipment on the bottom side of the table, and that's gone horribly wrong.
Yeah, got him. I mean, I don't mind shooting like that when the position is just simple rolling or not moving the cue ball too much, but it made him underdraw it. And a big mistake mid-match here from Vassell.
He's in trouble. Needs to get this safe, but also needs to hit it, of course. Needs to get it safe. Watch that cue ball. Wow. I don't think he's going to complain.
Oh, great result there. You can see Fogle jumping out of his chair and knowing that the cue ball could have gone in the pocket, but it didn't. Still a battle going on here in rack number 8. Doesn't have much here, Arya.
No, and I'll tell you what, Eric. Maybe it's just me and my perception. It feels like this is a tough old grind. And whilst I say that, we do have a runaway winner in the last 32 matches. One of them, by the name of Wojciech Szewczak, 9-1, has defeated Mika van Berkel from the Netherlands. That's quite some result. Joshua Filler, who is in action on the other table, 7-3 up against Mieszko Fortunski. And also his compatriot, Yuma Durner, with a healthy 7-2 lead versus Benjamin Belhassan. So a couple of matches are looking to finish anytime soon, but I feel we have a lot more pool left for us in this match.
Yeah, Vogle's in a tough spot there. Settled on trying to long bank the 7 in. Had to avoid the double kiss. Made him overcut the bank. So looking at 4-4 now. Expect Szewczak to be right near the end of this tournament. Was expected from the outset, but 9-1 win. Likely indicative of him being in form. Back to 2 breaks for Felix now.
Let me ask you this, Eric. If someone is about to pick up the game with high ambitions, what would be the 3 matches you'd advise them to study, and for what reason?
Like as far as what games to watch or players
Yeah,
or
yeah, just like any quality matchup game you can recall, and you go, because I know you're a coach as well. Where you
yeah.
go, look, study this game, study that player, study this shot. We don't have to go
You
into,
know,
shot details, but if there are 3 matches you can call, or recall, I should say.
yeah, I really like the World Team Championship final from this year. And I think anytime you can watch a match and watch multiple players, like even, I don't remember any specifics from any of the Mosconi Cup team matches, but anytime you can kind of sit down for, a period of 3 hours and watch 3 or 4 players, like any kind of doubles situation, I just think, watching contrasting styles, or they're not necessarily even contrasting, but just different styles over the course of a short period and kind of thinking what works best for you. That's as far as the fundamental side. But yeah, the World Team Championships, I did the final this year commentating it. It was a great match. A lot of, just stuff that comes up in hand rack 10 ball, and a close one too. Any match that's close and you can kind of see, just watch how the players kind of deal with pressure too, how they're moving around the table. There's so many factors.
Yeah, I agree. You'd like to mention a game where pretty much every facet of the game has been covered: playing under pressure, easy misses, outrageous runs.
Like any time where it's hill, can pay more attention to those games. I mean, if you want to see just perfection pool, there's the Ko Ping Chung match from the U.S. Open, where he wins 11-0.
Yeah.
Zero mistake.
I had that match in my mind as well. That's basically like a banner to attract new players, I suppose. But don't be fooled; it's not as easy as that one. That will probably happen once in your lifetime. But to do that in the US Open is extraordinary, that's for sure.
Yeah, semifinals it was. Dry break here from Fogle. First chance to sell. And a good one. Can get back on top of the 2 with draw here.
See, I've had the pleasure to do a couple of matches from Alexa, not just in this event, just, over the course of these Euro Tours and European Championships. I think he's a very talented, complete player, but I have to be perhaps a bit careful with what I say here. The only thing that just doesn't make sense to me is for a player of his quality that has all the shots, I just have a feeling he makes too many silly mistakes. So easy shots missed. Where when I look at him and make an observation of his skill level, of his all-round play, he looks very dangerous, and he is very dangerous. I'm not implying he's not dangerous, but sometimes, or maybe perhaps a bit more than some of the other players from his own caliber, misses a shot where you almost are in disbelief.
Yeah, there are players like that for sure. Could be just a focus issue. I don't think he's past 25, Arya. Still in his 20s, no doubt.
Yeah, I was looking at his EPBF profile. His last youth competition was back in 2019. So, like you say, he's got a lot of years ahead of him. Lost the cue ball there. But of course it started with the position on the 4 ball. We'll have to play another recovery shot here. And this one is very tough. 5 into the bottom left. Send that cue ball probably just below the middle pocket.
Great
You see what I mean? He made that one look like it was the easiest shot in the world. And then all of a sudden you think to yourself, then why is it going so hard for you if you can play shots like that?
Yeah, to me, I think the strength in his game is in his stance. It's almost kind of borders on a type of snooker stance, but like not too square where he's too stiff or anything. But if you look at how, I don't know, I just noticed these small things. He looks real solid in his stance. Of course, leads to being real still over the shot. So I think he can make those tough shots when he needs to.
Perhaps I should take a different approach. What I see is someone with all of the ingredients to, you know, be a contender for all of these major tournaments. And he is already. But if he can just tidy up some of these simple mistakes, look, running out of position or missing a ball for that matter, happens to the best of them. So I'm not implying he should never miss a ball, but just not miss the shots that you really shouldn't miss at this level.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Oh, for sure. And it just leads towards more consistency, right? And, you know, the quality of play you have to produce to win the whole tournament, I mean, few players will ever understand. But just to kind of, you know, not have those easy mistakes as any kind of factor in your consistency overall is a big thing. Because the level of play is so high now, you really can't afford to give away any games.
Yeah. There's a line in, I don't know if you're familiar with that book, Relentless, written by the kinesiologist of Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and many other top NBA players. There's a line in there where he goes, anyone can have a good season, but can you have a legendary career? And that attests to what you were alluding to, the consistency. It's all fun if you can have a couple of great games and perhaps even, you know, a couple of great months. Nobody will take that away from you, but can you have a great career over the span of 20, maybe 30 plus years? That's when you put yourself in the bracket of the greatest of all time.
Could be another dry one for Fogle, and it is. And a chance for Alexa to take a 2-game lead now.
He's got options here. I think there is enough room behind the back of the 6 here. So he could pot the 1, not having to do too much with the cue ball. Or maybe stun the cue ball a bit high up table, just anywhere near that headstring line. Or kitchen line, some of the players would refer to.
Yeah, it looks like the 4 has enough room past the 6. It is available in the left middle as well. You'll know what the best percentages on both those plays are. Don't believe the 9 passes the 10 later on in the rack. Feels okay to go on the side here. Gonna want to get close to it on a fairly straight angle. Seven's close to the 8, and the 8th the ball is going to need to have a proper angle on to get easily onto the 9.
You could probably hear the applause on the other side of the arena. Joshua Filler, one of the top favorites for the event, has won his match 9-4. So big congratulations to Mr. Filler, who will come back in the last 16. The last 16 will start at 9 o'clock local time, so that's just under 2 hours from now. And who's to say, Eric, he won't be featuring one of these stream tables once again.
Yeah, Filler kind of the class of the field here. As far as ultra world-class players, we have Victor Zielinski, Wojciech Szewczak, who won the match between Grabe and he?
It was Grabe at the end. Mario He had a straightforward safety shot, completely misjudged it and shook his hand with 4 balls on the table. He had enough.
Yeah, well, I would consider Dennis a major contender as well.
And for me, one of the dark horses will have to be Emile André Gangflut. I think he is really on the rise.
Yeah, I've always liked his game, going back a couple of years now that I've seen him play. And whenever I have seen him play, he's played near perfect. So just kind of a consistency thing happening for him as well, I think.
And he's also a power breaker. He is currently 7-4 up, so he is heading into the right direction.
Alexa taking a 2-game lead now. Coming back into his break, so advantage Purcell going into the final stages of this set. Kind of all turned for him when he played himself behind the 10, kind of with that awkward cueing that he really forced himself into. Just took a bit of a lucky swipe at the 7 and didn't leave Fogle with anything at all on the 7. He's won every game since then.
He's got a great opportunity to pull further away. But first things first, the break on this table has proved to be quite the headache. Hit that 1 ball flush on the head, and it's looking like he will have an opening shot, although it's not going to be easy to land nice on the 3 ball.
Yeah, we'll see how much of the right side of the cue ball he has here. I don't believe he has any of it really, so just going to be forced to roll the 1 in here over distance. Believe it or not, even this 1 ball being that close to the pocket, rolling the ball over this distance, it's missable. Try to elevate down into it. Shot. Took the roll off out of play, but didn't create much movement back towards the 3.
Now, if you're going for the putt here, that cue ball is tracking towards that 6 and a 5, so not so sure whether he's going for this. He might be forced into it, you know.
Yeah, almost looked like he was favoring the safe there. Kind of knew the cue ball was coming across to that exact area. Didn't leave anything offensive for Fogle, but needs to make something of this chance here. He's lost 3 games in a row at this point.
Has he called a bank here? No, playing safe. That's the right shot, and I don't think there is a gap between the 5 and the 6. Even if they were, it's looking very risky.
Sale gonna come with a standard 2-rail kick safe here. Has a chance to kick it in the bottom right. Great try, but hitting it properly where it was always going to create distance. 2 rails now for Fogle. Trying to land the cue ball near the 4 ball or the 10. Look out, corner pocket. Things going sideways for Fogle now.
Yes, they are, Eric, and Alexa should really punish him for it. He's already 6-4 in front. He has his opponent wobbled. If he can capitalize and make it 8-4, be a tough spot to lose the match in its entirety. So these are big moments here for Alexa.
Nine ball's not in the best spot, but if he does get straight on it, 10 ball will be right there. That he's underdrawn this a bit. Wants to be straight enough on the 7 that he can hold 1 rail for the 8 in the side. Got a little closer to it here, so easy enough to target the thin edge of the 7.
The winner of this match will take on the winner of the match of Denis Laskowski versus Daniel Gutenberger. That's currently tied at 5-all. Good positional shot there. Just enough angle to come away from the side rail.
Not much negative body language from Fogle. Seems to be content with just waiting for his next turn. Very mature for his age.
Yeah, he plays with a smile on his face most of the time. It's also the first time in the match where a player has had a 3-rack lead.
Yeah, even just, what he's doing right now, just kind of wiping down his cues. Like, it's a positive mental attitude for, I'm going to get another shot. I'm going to do my best when I do. He's not hanging his head or anything. Stuff like that's important.
Yeah, and he has that extra gear that he can accelerate and, play these sometimes flashy shots if required and, run the rack.
And this would be the beginning of the comeback here. Have to combo the 5 into the 6. Ideally in a way where the 5 ends up playing over the bottom left. Got the right angle here to let the 5 play down to the bottom left.
Yeah, that's landed absolutely perfect for him. Should go on to clear the table here.
There's a small angle going to the right. Actually, don't mind powering through off the short rail here. A little dangerous, a little high speed. I was thinking come all the way back for the side, but that's a smarter play there. Kept the speed down, gave himself a chance to get close to the 9. Going to be forced to play into the short side of the 10 here, I think. Possibly leave himself a little cut angle.
He has these funny mannerisms where he's wiping the pockets and the cloth. Basically what that tells me is he's trying to likely to bring his heart rate down, focus on the shot, and then he gets down and makes it look ridiculously easy. It's all within his right, of course. That's where the shot clock extension comes into play.
Yeah, showed confidence firing at that one with speed. But yeah, Johnny Archer used to do that. Kind of walk around the table and pick off imaginary lint from around the table. There's no way that the tables were that dirty that he was doing it every third shot, but just kind of a way, you're right, just kind of a way to calm yourself down. And the fact is that he's only been near, this is not quite near the end, but a chance to get near the end of maybe 7 or 8 decent sized tournaments in his career. So whenever you haven't been there that many times, unless you're some kind of rare breed, you're going to be feeling the nerves a little bit.
Yeah, most definitely. 2 important breaks coming up for Felix. Could really use a good break here just to get into a rhythm. Four ball down.
Most likely ball down, but yeah, got the 4 down. A good look at the 1. So things starting to turn back Felix's way now. And Alexa knows it.
Alexa looking like he's suffering a migraine. There's nothing he can do about this. This is looking like a very nice layout for Felix, I must say, Eric.
Yeah, it's gonna have to find a way to get the back for the 3 in the side here, but should be okay with that. Wants to be straight. Looks like he's just straight enough. Gonna be queuing over the 8, but pretty simple pocketing here.
Yeah, and also automatic position on the 5 ball. 6 and a 7 or a hanger. I think if he can draw the cue ball a little bit up table while he's going forward. It makes controlling the 6 ball a bit easier.
Played position in a way where if both dropped, they'd still be on the 8. Wouldn't have minded if the 6 dropped here. Just gonna have to come up with one more cue ball movement.
These are very tough to control, the cue ball. That's the settle for the 8.
Corner pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
Corner.
Because the side will mean that the cue ball is on a runner. Doesn't have to take that risk, of course.
I mean, look at the side area, and he is going to go there. Looks a little better from the overhead than the previous camera angle. Just slid it into the side of the pocket. So first of 2 breaks here in rack number 13. Going by way of break and run to Fogle. He's making a strong charge at the comeback here. Looks like Alexa's going to take his break. Might have actually been Felix taking the break. But we'll be on about a 5-minute break here, and we'll be back with the conclusion of this match. Fogle back from his break. Kind of surprised he actually took a break in that spot. Was on a positive offensive run.
Yeah, you don't see this too often when a player has just produced a break and run. But perhaps he just had to go to the toilet. And when that happens, doesn't matter what the occasion is, Eric, you have to run.
Good square hit. 6-ball dropping. 8-ball down as well, and nicely on the 1. Gonna need a small angle on the 2 here. Tough to get on the 3. If he has to get somewhere near straight, that'll work okay.
Feels like the angle he leaves himself on the 2 ball is going to decide whether he can run the rack or not.
Really have to follow through good on a shot like this. So thick, hitting multiple rails, likely going forward. So easy to come up short on a shot like that. Still gonna have an option to run into the 10 here. Tough to predict an exact outcome. Running into a ball at this speed. Oh, and it's perfect, Arya.
It sure is. And one good positional shot now from the 3 on the 4. And we could have back-to-back break and runs. And in a very interesting part of the match, 7-all, raised to 9. And Alexa must have now spent at least 10 to 15 minutes in his chair to watch 2 racks to be completed. 2 racks where he had absolutely no shot at the table.
Yeah, even the 3rd rack going back. Broken didn't make a ball, so this will be 3 clearances for Fogle in a row. Silver hit this. Gonna be queuing over the 7 as well. Got check time for Fogle here. He's gonna stay on offense.
I think rolling the 5 ball in, natural pace, pocket speed is the way forward here. I see no real advantage in trying to jack up the cue and play a big screw shot here. Just roll it in and accept a longer distance 7. He had other ideas, and maybe 10 years from now he'll play that shot in a different manner. A lot of ifs and maybes. I'll tell you one thing, that's not the worst outcome, considering by how much of a margin he's missed that 5 ball.
Yeah, definitely could have ended up worse here. Tough for Alexa to get the cue ball behind another ball. Maybe the 7, but it has to be perfect weight playing past it. He can get the 5 safe. Just opted to get the cue ball tight to the short rail, and he's done very well with that.
Yeah, good shot. This is actually a difficult safety return.
Yeah, Fogle wants to get aggressive. He can go 3 rails off the left side of it. Coming close to a scratch in the top left, playing behind the 7. Looks like he's going to pass on that shot. Just containing, but look out. 9's going to have to block the 5, and I don't believe it has. So finally a mistake coming from Fogle here.
Yeah, and that's a well. Sorry, Eric, to interrupt you. That's well and truly a forced error, because that safety shot by Alexa was absolutely top draw, and it's forced that mistake.
Wanted to be closer to the 7 here, but still pretty comfortable. Big difference between being 8-6 going into Alexa's breaks and 7-all. Just thick enough that he should be okay pocketing the 9 on the side. Slow the cue ball down with some left spin.
This 10 ball to put himself in pole position. 8-6 in front with 2 breaks coming up.
Yeah, Fogle just got caught in between there. I mean, you wouldn't want to slow roll at a ball like that 5 over that distance, but I would have favored it. Seemed a little tougher to power up and elevate the cue even more. They just overhit the position from the 4 to the 5. That was the first mistake.
The tough shot he had on the 5, if you're trying to, you know, inject a bit of pace in the cue ball, it's not really going to gain you any advantage. So yeah, it's one of those. It's very easy for us to sit here and, you know, criticize a shot selection and what have you, but you know, that was one of those instances where perhaps the experience caught him out. But
good for Pasinov. Not going to leave anything though.
No, I don't think that 167 looks on here.
Yeah, the 1 so close to the 6. These are really deceiving to get enough cut angle. Good save. Doesn't want to have left the short rail. Alexa taking a look at that immediately. Does have it. So, chance for him to get Fogle in a bad spot here with the cue ball behind the 6. Or does he only have the right edge of it? Ooh, tight play there, and it's not worked out. Tough to get on the 2 though here, Aria. So you can take an angle outside to the right of the 6.
Yeah, just like yourself, I'm trying my hardest to see a clear path towards that 2 ball, but I must say that 6 ball is a massive hindrance.
Yeah, there is room to track it along the right long rail. Speed's just going to have to be very good here. Not perfect, but still on the 2. Wonder if he can get the cue ball swinging tight enough back towards the 3 if he draws around the 9. Alexa looking on anxiously. So he's going to decide on safe here. Two rails now. He'll be able to get a bit of control with the cue ball if he's able to run it into the 10. 5 a possible blocker in that case. But obviously tough to judge. Coming in multiple rails. Did pretty well, and he's going to get a half reward here. Fogle can cut the 2 in. The only positional relief there would be between the 5-10. He's going to back off, wait for a better shot. Yeah, he's under pressure now with Alexa being on the hill.
Yeah, Alexa is looking to send that 2 ball twice across. Hold the cue ball where it is to keep it safe with the 3 ball as a blocker. He has called it back into the right middle pocket.
Shot.
Yeah, but
Let's
that
get
3
behind the 4 now.
exactly, because that 3 ball does not pass the 10. Wants to play a good safety here. That could be the pathway towards the victory here. If you can nail this shot, you'd have to say advantage Alexa. And that is not a good shot, I feel. I think he's left the pot, and well, based on his body language, pretty convinced that he has left this pot. That is shocking.
Yeah, he has the full ball here. Doesn't have to swerve into it or anything. So a couple turnarounds in the last couple games. Fogle's still going to have to get through the rest of the rack under pressure here. Very good chance to get to 8-7. Just one more of Alexis breaks to come.
Alexa absolutely infuriated with himself in the chair. He would have known that safety attempt could have easily given him the greatest chance to win the match. He'll have another break after Felix finishes this run. Yeah, that cue ball literally sprung off that bottom rail. The conditions are testing the players. The pressure is on. Alexa will have the break after this, but nothing is a guarantee in this stage of the match.
Oddly, the most common ball that's been going in has been in the top left. There is a ball in the fourth row. Let's take a look at the numbers here. It tends to go on that path. Be the 3 ball in this case. Was going, but the 5 got in the way. 9's down though. He's on the 1. Chance to win the match now for Alexa.
Doesn't have to play this, of course, but he has a chance here to run his cue ball onto the backside of the 5. He would always have a shot on the 2. Doesn't have to take the risk, of course.
Yeah, I don't mind it because the 4's in the middle, and it's gonna, those balls in the middle can be funny sometimes. The 4 was more onto the rail. Kind of seems like it'd be easier to develop something back towards the 5. We're just gonna have to. I guess the risk in running into the 5s, he could have pushed it into the 10. So just gonna have to focus on position towards the 4 here. Doesn't want to be straight, and he is. Gonna be able to stop the cue ball and leave a distance play on the 5.
Yeah, it helps that the 6 ball is very close to that corner pocket, so needs to play the stop shot here and make sure he puts the 5. And if he can leave himself an angle on the 6 ball, it should be game over, really.
Smart little stun run through there on the 4 to get just a little better on the 5. The speed he's going to hit the 5 at is going to lend to being a little straight on the 6, but he'll deal with that once it comes up. thick part of the pocket, so has angle going into the short rail now. Looks like a possible timely break and run here for Purcell. He's good, Arya. Looking to book a place in the last 16 now.
Yeah, and he's got all the tools, Eric, to go all the way. Doesn't have a lot of time to chill out, mind you. The next matches are due to be starting a little over an hour from now, so you'll probably grab a quick snack, relax, and prepare for the last 16.
Break and run finish. Entertaining match here. Fogle did his best after being stuck 7-4. Came with 2 real good racks. Coming within 7-6. Just getting a little out of line on the 5, and that kind of halted his comeback. We'll be back with one more round today, as Arya mentioned. Final 16 rounds coming up in a little under an hour. For Arya Sarabi, this is Eric Orlofsson. Talk to you guys soon.